Welcome back to 8 Cubes. Sue Storm might be about to break Marvel Snap. We've got to talk about Invisible Woman. She is a 3/5 with an activate ability that doubles the end of turn abilities of your cards for one turn. Now, there are a couple of things to clarify about how this ability works, couple of edge cases to talk about. Edge case number one is, as I understand it, this should double Sunspot's energy gain on the turn that you use this ability. Edge case number two is that it will not give you two doubles of the once per game on a Human Torch first steps or on a Thing first steps. You'll get the gain from the end of turn, but you shouldn't get two doubles or two destroys. Edge case number three that I think is quite important to how this card will function is that it should also double Doom 2099 procs. So at 3/5, this looks like a card that goes in an already popular and reasonably powerful deck, the Fantasticar Evo deck, and also has the potential to bring Doom 2099 back to the forefront of the metagame. Let's start with just the card. Is this going to be the best card of the season for you outside of the Season Pass Mr. Fantastic First Steps?
Yeah, right. It's gonna be very difficult to compete with Mr. Fantastic in terms of overall utility and just splashability, at least in the current meta. I think Mr. Fantastic for sure top one, but this one is a very close second for me. Like you said, right? Doubling the Doom procs, potentially, hopefully doubling the Sunspot. I think that one's actually very interesting for me as well. I think this card's gonna be really good in the shells that it's meant to be good in. Personally, I think reviving the Doom 2099 so-called archetype is something that I think a lot of people want because it's a simple deck. I mean, I guess saying that a lot of people want it is a bit subjective because it's a simple to play deck that will farm people if you just get the curve, which I assume will be popular. So, but I guess simplicity is not always a bad thing, you know. So, reviving Doom 2099 as an archetype, I think I'm down for sure.
I worry that Invisible Woman sort of almost explicitly goes into the Surtur space, where every deck that involves her is extremely easy to play and sort of flat in terms of skill expression. So whether that be Doom 2099 or High Evo Fantasticar, they're all decks where it's like, anyone can grasp this and play it at a competent level, no matter how good you are or how much time you put in to understanding Marvel Snap. And I think decks like that are just like hugely proactive are the ones that are largely regarded as balance outliers by the team because they end up having drastically higher win rates at the meat of the curve. They don't require like understanding when to apply your tech cards or anything like that. It's just do what you can to make the largest numbers, make some large numbers, play some big guys. And when decks like that are good, I feel like they tend to be nerf targets faster because they are easier to play than something like move bounce or whatever, right? And I worry about that for Invisible Woman. I worry she might get like hamstrung. I worry she might get cut off at the knees where she'll get like 2 weeks of being an actual playable card at High Infinite, but then she'll get nerfed because of how good she is in general population. And then the people in High Infinite will be like, well, I can just do points in a different way. I'll be fine. But the people who bought this card might end up feeling a little bit worse about it because they bought her to be that sort of autopilot free win card that I don't have to think a lot about, right?
Yeah, I do agree on that point very strongly because because you mentioned move bounce at the highest levels of Infinite, right? Like that one is just a very, very extremely small sample size. Whereas for something like this card, the more you look at it, it feels like everyone can do well with the card, you know. So if everyone can do well with the card, the stats will be very high up in terms of win rate of like general population. So it will be eyeballed for sure. I have a feeling this card will be definitely eyeballed for sure if it actually becomes present in the meta. And then hopefully the nerf isn't too big that it's still playable for everyone that bought the card.
So in terms of this card, which of the two shells are you more excited for? Are you excited to play her in the Doom deck or the Evo deck?
The Doom deck, the Doom. I know maybe for you it's gonna be the Evo because you've been loving Evo since forever. Yeah, it is, right? For me it's Doom simply because like I mean obviously this is not Doom Sandman of the past, but like I've always had a soft spot for Doom as a card. And then Doom 2099 as well. I played a lot of that card and built a lot of different like degenerate turn 6 just win decks with Doom 2099 as well. So I feel like I miss Doom 2099, and I hope this revives it a little bit. You know, like it's obviously gonna be one of those simple decks to play that you just draw your curve, play your curve, snap, and then they leave because they cannot do anything. Feels like that kind of deck, right? Because like what Doom 2099 does is it just adds stats without you really doing anything after you play the card, and this like doubles up, doubles down on that. So it's gonna be something that I think is gonna be present. People like easy decks. I also do like easy decks, especially if you know how to snap. You get easy wins with easy decks.
I agree with that. I just think that the Evo Shell is unfortunately necessary to make this deck work. Like, I could be wrong. Maybe this is the card that really allows us to just play like Reed and Johnny and Ben and Sue and Doom, and those are our end of turn cards that justify Fantasticar, and maybe we have a Sunspot in here or a Hydra Bob in here, and maybe that's just enough. But I can't help but feeling like once I have Sue in my deck, the card I want to double up is Sunspot. The card I want to double up is Cyclops. The cards I want to hit are those cards, Cyclops, Misty Knight, Sunspot. Like, those are really cool things to hit. And I also feel like if you're playing a Fantasticar deck, it pushes against being a Doom 2099 deck, because one of the big advantages Fantasticar decks have is being able to play these extra one-drops with end of turn abilities to get more value out of their Fantasticar. And that is mostly applicable in the high Evo shells, because you're not playing a Sunspot in a Doom 2099 deck. You're literally never floating energy if you're doing what you're trying to do. And so you end up losing Sunspot, you lose High Evo Misty Knight, you lose the access to Cyclops, and suddenly you just have less end of turn guys, and you end up not wanting to be a Fantasticar deck nearly as much. And so I think that my gut says I would want to still be in the Evo Shell, even though I think Doom 2099 is like probably pretty damn good for doing what he does, and Invisible Woman Doom 2099 is really powerful. I also worry about the ease of counterplay. I think maybe both of them are going to protect each other, where the fact that Killmonger beats the Evo Shell will protect the Doom Shell because there will be people playing Killmonger, and the fact that, like, let's say US Agent and Hazmat beat the Doom Shell might protect the Evo Shell because there'll be people choosing to play that instead of the Killmonger that would beat the Evo Shell. Really interesting. Really, really interesting dynamic here. I do think that there probably will be, at least on day one, a couple of different viable paths for this, but I default to trusting the one that's already been good, and that's High Evo Fantasticar.
Yeah, I think I want to add one more thing, which is also kind of interesting, because if you look at these two decks, right, like they actually do very interestingly different things. Whereas for Doom, you kind of want to, in theory, spend all your mana every turn, spend all your energy every turn, right? And in general, that's supposed to be like maximum stat output because you get to spend all your energy every turn. Whereas for the Evo deck, it's intentionally not spending all its energy any turn, but it's being offset by the fact that you gain stats and points or reduce your opponent's stats because you play off curve basically. So it's very interesting to see like which is actually like the one that comes out on top, right? Spending all your energy, maximum stat output, or not spending all your energy and gaining stats because the cards are asking you to not spend all your energy.
Let's talk a little bit about The Thing, who I originally reviewed as a card that kinda sucked, right? A card that was not going to pay you off as much as you would want for a 5-drop. I don't think that's untrue, but my opinion of him has gone up over the last week and not down. And that's an interesting dynamic, because I think there have been cards recently where like it comes out and I'm like, I can see how this card would be good and I like what I'm doing with it, but I don't think it's very good. And then my opinion of it goes even further down. And that's sort of where I was with The Thing, except he's just been like kind of playable. What has really impressed me about the card is that he very much has the clutch gene. And we talked about this in our review of him to begin with, but that in practice, it just makes me feel like good players can use this card very well. The card is just good, and if you understand what lanes matter and how to set up for him and what your opponent is doing, there are situations where he is genuinely unbeatable. He's incredibly good on games where there is Nexus or Baxter building. The more high leverage a location is, the better he is. And I think he gets even better in a metagame like this. And this is the dynamic that I really think that might make him justifiable is he gets over a Cosmo, and basically nothing else in the entire game does that. Like that is like a very specifically unique to him space, is that if there's something on, if there's like a Cosmo and like an Iron Man behind it, he's like the only card that's going to give you a shot at doing something about that right now.
Yeah, so this card definitely isn't like the best 5-drop in the game for sure. Let's get it out of the way first. But I do really enjoy like the design of this card. This card has a very high player agency because at the end of the day, it's about like when you wanna activate the switch, right? To blow up the card. And like you said, being able to bypass Cosmo is a huge deal. So the thing about this card is that I really think that it's a card that provides a huge amount of anxiety to your opponent because it's like are they gonna fill this location and blow up my card? And even if they blow up the card, what is the card they're blowing up? There's like multiple things that could be blown up here. If they blow up the right one, I lose. If they don't blow up the right one, I might not lose. It's a maximum anxiety card, and I think it provides opponent a lot of grief. So, but the problem is I don't think it goes into like every deck, right? It's kind of like not a card that you can play willy-nilly everywhere, you know. But like I really like the card. Like in general, like if we don't talk about specific deck types or archetypes or whatever, like the card itself, the design of the card, and hopefully it's going to be relevant in the future. But like if this card becomes like a mainstay in many decks, I'll be very happy because I think the card is good, like just not perfect right now in the current state of the meta, but it is good.
I think it is a little bit buoyed in my estimation by that Cosmo interaction, where it's like, if you have the thing first steps and you have a Shadow King in your deck, I feel like there's just kind of a lot of situations you're just naturally prepared for, where it's just like you just end up being able to do good stuff. Like they're just like, and then I really can't overstate the location thing. Like locations, he basically instantly wins for you. Nidavellir, Mojo World, just him in those locations, he will win those, right? Like stuff like that, being really good on high leverage locations like Nexus and Baxter building. There's just a bunch of stuff where it's like he's not ever that bad beyond the fact that he costs 5. And I feel like as a 5-drop, it's hard to break out of the 5-drop, the issue with being a 5-drop. He does very well at getting close to it, I think. I don't think he's a perfect card, I agree. But like he's very, very close to being a really good 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this card is very. It's not. I don't think it's as good, but it's very close to being very Legion-ish in Conquest, especially because the location thing is a huge deal. Whereby, can you imagine, like, because the thing about Legion is just that it's very like if there's multiple locations that benefit you, you can augment it to make it like good for you, right? Whereas, and this card is similar. This card also, if there's locations that like buff it or like reduce power or whatsoever, this card just like farms, you know. So I feel like it's kind of a really good Conquest card. It's just where you can fit it now is a bit limited.
Grand Arena has been out for about 5 days, but for some people that feels like about 5 weeks because they are getting tech carded to death. The dominant Grand Arena tech shell is Dr. Doom Agatha and then Sarah Tech, which means that they're effectively playing with an 11-card deck and then also discounting all of the tech cards that are the Fun Police. What I want to talk about is the role of tech cards in Marvel Snap largely and in specifically Grand Arena. There's a very interesting GDC talk that Ben Brode gave that involves a discussion of the snap mechanic as a way to balance out zero-sum fun, because I personally believe that most people exist on a spectrum of winning to fun, and they play games because they're fun, but at the same time, they don't queue up the game in order to see the defeat screen. They are trying to express themselves and still win. When you look at player psychographics for Magic, Timmy, the guy who likes big numbers, Johnny, the guy who likes combos, yes, people like to win in different ways, but they still want to do the thing that they like to do and win while doing it. People don't queue up to lose. And so I think that to some degree, there are a lot of conversations happening about tech soup that are happening largely because people lose to it, right? That like it is something that is upsetting to lose to, and also they're losing to it. And I think that if it wasn't something people were losing to, these conversations wouldn't be happening. At the same time, I do think there's probably value in making sure that a game mode that is supposed to be like explicitly the casual, like do your fun stuff mode doesn't have all the removal in it. And I think it might be worth taking a look at for Second Dinner, personally. Like, I don't think that banning Shang Chi from Grand Arena will make the format better in a meaningful way, but I do think it might as well give people something new to complain about. And I kind of think that, like, there is probably value in that, because you'll notice these next two topics are Grand Arena tech and ladder tech. And the fact that it's the same cards in both game modes, I think that might actually be bad for the game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Grand Arena, as you mentioned, it's like the for fun mode, right? Like most of the things that you, I mean, I guess ladder is also kind of fun depending subjectively, but Grand Arena specifically is just meant to be chill and just for you to jam games, do combo stuff. I mean, you freaking start with like 2 extra manas. It's meant for you to do like fun things, you know. So I think that it's very possible, and I would like also to see that there's some sort of like restriction list, you know, like in some games they have stuff like that, like a restricted list, so that you can only do the fun things, like play the stats or play the stuff that the champions are meant to do, you know, instead of just like get tech carded to death, because you're already getting tech carded to death on ladder. For people that want to reach like top 10 infinite or whatever, you will get tech carded to death, right? So I guess for fun mode, find a way to reduce the amount of tech cards.
Here's the thing, though, is if you get rid of the tech cards, when you zoom out, Marvel Snap is just war with 3 locations. Bigger number wins, right? And so you get rid of the tech cards. Let's say you banned every tech card. Cosmo, Enchantress, Eliath, Shang, Ench. All of them. Everything you can think of. If you name a tech card, Valkyrie, gone. Shadow King, gone, right? What ends up being a good deck? It ends up being the deck that does the biggest number. And that deck will do the biggest number, and that will be bigger than every other deck. And every other deck will have absolutely no way of competing, right? Like, that is sort of ultimately the issue that a game like this runs into, is that the game engine is so simple. And despite the fact that, like, snaps cover for this in the real game mode, there's no snaps in Grand Arena. And so the game engine is so simple, and you'll be like, oh, I'm playing a Human Torch deck. My opponent is playing Wong Black Panther. I can't interact with them at all. They make more power than me. I lost the game before it even started. And I think that dynamic is something that Marvel Snap has done a really good job avoiding, thanks to the snap mechanic. I've been playing Hearthstone recently. There's a lot of stuff like that in Hearthstone. I had a game where I made 30 power on turn 4 and my opponent lost. Neither of us could have done anything about that. Like, that was going to happen from the jump. That's just what it was. And it just sort of seems like we're in a game mode where that feeling is being introduced to people. And one thing I'll say for tech cards, at least they get played on the last turn of the freaking game. Like, at least you play the whole game when those cards are involved. I've had games where I was playing Wong and my opponent was playing whatever other deck, and it was just like, well, I'm making an 800 power Herbie, so this game ended. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think the more I think about it, I'm gonna change my mind there and say that, like, because we don't have the retreat mechanic, I don't think we can actually obliterate tech cards. It just doesn't make sense, right? If you think about it, right? Like, you can't exactly obliterate, because if you do obliterate tech cards, like you said, then the decks that you play in Grand Arena in a game mode with 0 retreats, right, where you're stuck just like adding power to your cards and see who is bigger, that's gonna be what's happening. But I mean, I guess in a for fun mode, you can say that, oh, bigger number wins, and I'm gonna make the biggest number is fun. But then again, that's also very subjective. So yeah, okay, you know what? Just don't abolish tech cards.
On ladder, I think the biggest argument for tech cards as a problem is that they keep being the same solutions to new problems. And this is actually like a fairly pro Second Dinner argument. Like, I'm surprised people make it. I made it, and then I thought about it, and I was like, am I not just arguing for them to like make more money? Because it's like, I think the tech cards are causing them to lose money in the sense, like, okay, Dormammu comes out, but I don't have to buy it because I can just tech card it, right? Like whenever a card comes out, we've seen this thing where like the counter gets popular to it. A new afflict card comes out, well, suddenly people are playing a bunch of Loot Cage, right? And so I feel like this situation is actively losing them money because they're really good at making cool new threats, but there's no way to make cool new tech because if you made a second Shang Chi, then people might just play two Shang Chis. And also because tech isn't cool. And so you have this really weird dynamic where I think the existence of this stuff probably loses them money in the long run, but also it's what keeps the game within bounds. And it's sort of, I don't know the right way to phrase it. I almost feel like it provides artificial depth to a game that actually doesn't have a lot of it.
Yeah, so I think that makes a lot of sense, but I also want to agree that like it does kind of really lose them money, right? Because you are not completely required to buy the new card every time because most of the new cards always have an answer with existing cards, right? Like new ongoing card Enchantress, new above 10 Shang-Chi, new green power card Shadow King, right? So I mean obviously you'd want to play with the new cards, but like, I guess it gives the players an option to like not buy and just see what happens first and then maybe decide later. I don't think this will ever change, right? Like honestly, I don't think we can ever abolish tech cards ever. Like the thing is like we have so many tech cards. Like the only thing I can think about is like splitting up a tech card. Like I remember I made this pitch about Shang-Chi only being able to pop 10 if it's like it accomplishes a certain like
like a quest
thing, you know. Yeah, something like that. Like make it like a quest or something like that. Like tech cards are too convenient right now, right? Like I think the problem with Shang-Chi in particular is always like just play the card, boom, win. But like if it has to have certain conditions before you can go boom, maybe it's gonna be less annoying.
Zoom out. Give me your take on Grand Arena right now as a game mode.
Okay, so it's not funny. The cool thing about Grand Arena is that so I was formerly surrounded by a lot of Marvel Snap like players, my friends and all that, but they all kind of quit. But this mode brought like so many of them back. Like a lot of them have been messaging me say that I downloaded the game to play Grand Arena. Like they told me they downloaded the game and I'm just like, why? They're like, oh, I want to try the new mode. Apparently a lot of people like the new mode. It's just fast games. Firstly, Marvel Snap's niche, fast games, and also the game mode is just fun. You know, like I had a lot of fun just like spamming Doom. The Doom champion is my favorite right now. But yeah, it's just I feel like the game mode is something that is very, how should I put it? It's just a lot of like it's like a lot of like cool things happening and it doesn't take a lot of effort to play. You know, you don't really need to put a lot of effort to play the mode. Obviously you can get tech carded to death, but that won't change ever, I feel. But like I like the mode. I think the mode is something that's relatively well received from people that I know in general also. I want to know like if anyone actually doesn't like the mode. It's kind of rare, right? I don't actually hear people say things like, "Oh, I don't like Grand Arena," but like they say I don't like getting tech carded to death. But like they don't say that I don't like Grand Arena. Grand Arena in general, I think very well received personally as well.
I wanted to take a little bit to talk about the reward structure for the mode here because I think if any people have objections to it, it's largely that. I've seen complaints about like, oh, it's too grindy. I think those complaints would exist as long as there was a thing to grind for, right? Like when like one of the things that I think people probably should realize is that card games, or not necessarily card games, but like games of this nature monetize off of that feeling, right? The reason that it feels like a grind is because you can pay to speed the grind up, right? And you either get to choose between free-to-play grinding or you pay to get the stuff now. And it's a question of how much you value your time versus your money. And the game constantly puts those things in tension for you. And I think that that is just a baseline assumption that you should have playing any game with like digital purchases, is like that is a sort of fundamental underpinning of how they approach the game, right? Like you are going to be able to spend money to speed up the acquisition process. And I think that that is something that is never not going to cause tension. But one of the things that's bothered me recently is I see people saying like it feels bad for that to happen. And it's like, yeah, it's probably supposed to. Like, I don't know if there's a way to make you feel that tension that doesn't feel bad for you, right? Like that is how they make people spend money. That's how the game's monetization model works. If anyone has an idea of how to put the like time versus gold expenditure in conflict with each other and not make it feel bad, I think they could probably revolutionize the gaming industry. But outside of that, the thing that's making this game mode feel like less of a grind, and the thing that should make it feel like less of a grind, is wow, are Mad Thinker and Mole Man bad. Like, wow, you do not need those cards. Like, you're gonna be okay.
So the funny thing about Mole Man and I swear to God, those cards, right? The last time I heard those cards mentioned in it's last week's video, by the way. When we talked about the fact that they were bad, right? Like, normally it would be like, someone got the card and tried to make a deck. Like, no one's doing anything with those cards.
I did.
Okay, maybe you did. But like, no one's doing anything successful with those cards.
I had a 60% win rate with Mad Thinker. Don't ask me what I did with him, because I definitely just jammed him in already good decks and then like had one brick in my deck of 11 good cards.
Yeah, those cards feel like you just need to put them in your deck to do the missions, right? Like for the weekly missions. Okay, like just jam them in your deck and then do the missions with a really good deck. No, but like I feel okay. So I want to talk about the pay to progress thing, which is firstly, I think it's never going away, because at the end of the day, enjoyment is a very subjective thing, and like some people who are maybe financially a bit like more free, they enjoy by getting everything they want in the game ASAP, and that means swiping your credit card, so like some people enjoy that, and then some people enjoy the grind, so at the end of the day, the option has to be open for you to like pay for something if you really want to. Obviously, pay to progress in terms of skill is not something that we want to happen, but in terms of pay to obtain some stuff, I guess it's kind of okay.
Throughout all of this, I actually kind of feel like ladder's pretty balanced and good. Like, I don't really have any large complaints about it beyond, like, I kind of think Mr. Fantastic's still a little too good. I think he's, like, a little less too good than he was a little bit ago. But he's just, like, pretty clearly the elite 2-drop in the game outside of maybe Merlin, right? And, like, I think if you look at both of those cards, I would not be angry if you took a power off of both of them and just did it. Like, I realize that like Merlin is very much more like a high elo guy, right? But I feel like at a certain point you can just sort of win a billion games by playing Hood, Misery, Merlin, Wolf, Shadow King, Juggernaut in your deck, and it's like I don't care what the remaining 6 cards are. I just don't care. I think the best of those decks, for the record, is the Darkhawk one, but like you could do it with Devil Dinosaur, you could do it with Ronin. You can do it with a whole lot of stuff in those remaining 6 slots, and you'll have a pretty functional deck. And it doesn't involve Mr. Fantastic, so there is something to be said for that, but it does involve Merlin, and it's like, I do think that the 2 biggest power outliers I can see right now are the 2 most recent Season Pass 2-drops.
Yeah, I mean, Merlin is I wouldn't say it's strictly a high elo card, but in terms of it has a lot of player agency, and it's also a very consistent 2-drop, whereby you see so many of its spells, you kind of like just have all the answers you want in your hand by turn 6 if you draw it early, right? So Merlin's that kind of card. The one thing I want to talk about is like, why is Misery a 4/9? Like, I don't think that like it doesn't make sense. Like it's like they think blowing up your cards with this card is bad. Like, you actively are building a deck that is fine to blow up your stuff, and then they give you a 4/9 on top of blowing up stuff that you want to blow up anyway. So if anything, Misery 4/8 or whatever. Like, I don't even know why.
Give Shang Chi another target.
Yes. Okay. So it's either a 4/8 or a 4/10. Because to me, it's like it's 4/9 is the ultimate sweet spot. By the way, like it cannot die. 4/9 cannot die, and there's like zero downside. Just think of the amount of games that you win with Misery. Even if you blow nothing of value up, you play a 4/9, right? Even if you just brick completely and never get your curve, you play a 4/9. It's still a 4/9, So,
it's so good. It's honestly so good. I've had games where it's like worst case scenario.
You just played it into an empty location because it's 9 power, right?
Yes. It's just like, okay, that's fine. It's still my best play.
Yeah.
Grand Arena OTAs, I actually have several pitches. I don't know if they can alter the text on cards, but maybe they can. But we're going to start with updating the ban list. There's one card that stands out as like the most obvious ban in the entire format, and that's Sarah. People complain about tech soup, but they largely complain about the tech cards. And they don't complain about the cards that enable tech soup. Whenever I played tech soup in Grand Arena, it was entirely, did I draw Sarah? That was my whole thing, because without it, I wouldn't be able to play multiple of those tech cards on the final turn of the game. Just wouldn't happen, right? It was very important. And also, just generally, turn 4 Sarah, stupid. It's a stupid thing. We already have extra energy in the game mode. It makes you do even stupider stuff. It really raises the ceiling of every Mr. Fantastic deck. Get her out of here. Easiest ban in the format to me. They banned Wiccan, presumably for the exact reasons I'm detailing about Sarah. I just think they must have missed Sarah. Like, that's just basically just like, you missed that one, go ahead and get rid of it. So that's pitch number 1. Thoughts?
Okay, so the Sarah one is very... I 100% agree, because the thing about Wiccan on the ban list, it also makes sense, but the thing about is Wiccan has preconditions. Sarah has none, you know? Like the fact that I think you are right. They just missed Sarah, because Sarah's in this mode, right? Like, Sarah's the closest thing to a Wiccan with no precondition. Like in normal ladder, yes, because you don't have the extra energy. Whereas for this mode, the extra energy is just like, all right, the moment I draw Sarah, it's live, and then it's live so early, and then like, I just do whatever I want. Wiccan, of course, banned, but at minimum needs you to actually play curve. You know, like, you have to play stuff to curve into the Wiccan. Sarah has no precondition.
Yeah, Sarah just makes this game feel like energy doesn't exist at all. Like, when you're playing...
It kind of already is, by the way. It kind of already doesn't exist to a lot. But then Sarah makes it like even like negative energy or whatever you want to call it. Like, it feels like edge free.
Every card you drew, you're playing when you play Sarah. Yeah. Like, all of them. And it's just like, yeah, we probably should get rid of that. Ban list number 2. And here's where we get a little controversial. I'm going to say ban list number 2, one of Cannonball or Mercury. Because it turns out that with 7 energy, you can just play those guys on the final turn of the game. That's stupid. That's dumb. You probably shouldn't be able to do that.
I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's that big of a deal, honestly. I actually don't think that's big of a deal. I mean, the thing is, yes, you have 7 energy to do Mercury Cannonball. They also have 7 energy to not lose to Mercury Cannonball. And I feel like it's a lot easier, especially with Sarah on your opponent's side as well, right? They just have like so much free allocation to just not lose to that one combo. And you know it has to go to get a Mercury Cannonball.
I think the thing is, it's just like a free fallback, right? Like, I'm playing a Wong deck, right? And it runs Mercury Cannonball. And it's like, okay. Like, I did my Wong stuff. I got my 900 power Herbie. Now I go win another lane. All right. Like, it's just like, it just feels a little too free in a game mode like this. Every deck should not have the ability to do that, is sort of my case, right?
I can see it, yeah.
Number 3, Agatha Harkness. It's cool. I get it. It's silly that I'm suggesting this, but also the Doom Agatha stuff and getting an 11 card deck of like whatever it is you want, whether that be Scar or tech stuff, probably got to get rid of it. In my humble opinion, it's gotta go, and that stuff is just a little too stupid for my tastes. Even if it's not per se broken, it's just a little dumb.
The funny thing is, it might actually be more broken than people think, because, okay, so Marvel Snap's a 12-card game, right? Having an 11-card deck in a 12-card game, over a decent sample size, you're going to draw really well, man. Like, you're in general going to be drawing really well if everyone is on 12 and you're on 11. So I think I can see it, by the way. I can see it.
The last one I want to propose is my most controversial, okay?
Let's hear it.
Shang Chi. And my argument here is, this is your best learning experience for what happens when you ban Shang Chi. You have a week left in a game mode, right? Just 1 week left. And that means that you can use this to learn what happens. And if it turns out that everyone just starts complaining about Shadow King and Valkyrie, that's fine. But at least then you have something to point to when the next time this Shang-Chi conversation comes up again. And what if you're wrong, right? What if that doesn't happen? What if it turns out banning Shang-Chi is awesome and people actually do enjoy it more? Like, you're never going to get another chance to find that out, I feel like.
So you're saying because the mode is about to end, let's become lab rats? I'm down.
That is what I'm saying.
Let's do it. I mean, let's do it, right? Because like, it's not actually the main game mode. It's just a temporary thing. Yeah, let's just do it. Like, I mean, why not, right?
Lab rat us. Like, just like, I had a bunch of serious proposals, and those are fine. Like, take the game mode seriously. But also, if they do this, it'll come out on Thursday. There will be 1 week left in this game mode. Just do something cool. Just take a swing. Like, Mole Man is terrible. Just double the numbers on the card. Like, just to like do something stupid. Last up, by the way, I don't know if they can do that, for the record. I don't know if they can affect the cards, but assuming they can affect the spell cards in an OTA, they need to make Herbie's spell more expensive. There are effectively 3 decks at the top end of Grand Arena. They are Doom Agatha in some form, whether that be Tech Slop or the various Scar versions of that deck. There is the Reed Mr. Fantastic ongoing decks, which are quite powerful. Even the base version of that, the Precon, is probably the best Precon, if I had to guess. And then there is Herbie, and Herbie is literally everything else. Literally every other deck archetype goes into Herbie. Whether you're playing like Invisible Woman tech, take Invisible Woman out, put Herbie in, it's better. Like, it doesn't matter what that is. Herbie is a power outlier right now, and making his spell cost 1 more is at least what needs to be done about him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to argue about that one. I think that makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, KM's going to be sad about his 900 power Herbies, but like, you know.
Poor guy. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. This has been 8 Cubes. I've been KMBest. He's been Lamby Series. Take us out of here.
All right, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.